Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Zilbring. We are going to continue our lesson on slope, and today we're going to work on page 18. So there is another way to express slope, and it's with the slope formula. Before I started, I need to show you what it looks like if we have two ordered pairs. So the way I'm going to write this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So this little number here is called a subscript. It's just a little number. So the 1 sort of indicates that it's the first point, and the 2 just means this is the second point. So the slope formula is this. M equals, let me start over. Slope equals. There is a letter that is used to represent slope, and it's not S. It's not what you think. The letter is M. And the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It is the same thing as change in y over change in x. There is not a lot of room here, so take out another piece of paper. I want to do a couple of examples, maybe just 2. So say I have the points 2, 4 and 5, 7. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can go ahead and label them if you want, but I think it's actually pretty easy. The order does not matter, which is which, but you have to be consistent. So I'm going to say y2 minus y1, 7 minus 4, and then the x values would be x2 minus x1. From there, all you do is subtract. 3 over 3 simplifies to be 1. Okay, let me try it again. Second example, we're going to have 3, negative 1, 6, negative 4. Let's see, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Be careful with signs. Negative 4 minus negative 1 over 6 minus 3. Be careful of your signs. We have negative 3 over 3, and that simplifies to be negative 1. If you need more examples on this, tune into your live lesson, of course, and there are also tons of examples online. But best advice would be to tune into your teacher. So there is a very specific problem here, and you're going to see this again on your test. Find the value of r if the slope of the line find the value of r in 4, r and r, 7 if the slope of the line containing the points is 2. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the slope formula. So my slope is 2. I'm going to write that as 2 over 1, and you'll see why in a minute. 7 minus r over r minus 4. We've got 2 r's here, which is a little weird, but there is a trick. Best way to solve this is to cross multiply. So we have this equals this. Just that and that. Okay, 2 times r minus 4 equals 1 times 7 minus r. 2r minus 8 equals 7 minus r. Okay, I'm going to speed through this to solve it. 3r minus 8 equals 7. If I add 8 to both sides, I get 3r equals 15. And finally, my answer is 5. Let's try another one. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, slope is 1/2. 7 minus r, same numbers, over r minus 4. And same thing, cross multiply. So 1 times r minus 4 equals 2 times 7 minus r. And you guys do know how to solve this. Okay, I'm just going to go quickly since we're a little short on. I'm going quickly and then I'm making wrong numbers. 3r minus 4 equals 14, and you guys can do this. 3r equals 18, divide both sides by 3, r equals 6. Okay, I know this problem is a little bit weird, but go ahead and pause it here and try number 7 on your own. Go ahead and check if you got r equals 7. If you didn't, I suggest you go through my work and see if you can get it. So one question that I would expect to get from you is, where does this negative go? So it actually goes on either one. You would get the answer the same either way. I tend to put it in the numerator, but it actually doesn't matter. You could put it in one or the other. Let's look at the next section, which is the graphs. Finding the slope from a graph. So there's one other way that I need to tell you about slope. Slope in words is rise over run. It's how much up and then how much over. It is the same thing as change in y over change in x. And it is the same thing as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Two other things I want to show you. We always read slope from left to right. From left to right, this line is going uphill. This is a positive slope. And from left to right, this one is going downhill. If we're going downhill, it's a negative slope. Okay, same thing. If you have more questions, tune into your teacher for help. So what we need in this first example is we need some coordinate points. So I can pick any two spots where the line goes right through a corner. So those two are fine. And if I look, they keep going up. So this slope is negative because it's going downhill. Now let's look at rise over run. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Slope is simply negative 1 over 1. Okay, let's go through the next one. And again, I'm going to highlight in blue some points where it goes through evenly. This slope is positive because it's going uphill. How many up and how many over? We're going up 2 over 1. There you go. Number 3, it's not labeled, but our third problem. How many up, how many over? Well, now we have labels, so we have different choices. You could use the slope formula also. But let's see. 1, I'm going to put this in blue so it's really easy to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2. You can leave it like this, but best to simplify to be 2 over 1. And this last one is going downhill, so it's negative. Up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So slope is -3/1. We've got 4 more word problems, and then we're calling it a day. Finding slope/rate of change from a situation. So I said at the beginning, rate of change would be applying to word problems. The best way to do these is actually to make them into ordered pairs. A climber is on a hike. After 2 hours, he is at an altitude of 400 feet. Remember, I've told you that almost all the time is our x value. So 2, 400. After 6 hours, he's at an altitude of 700 feet. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Rate of change is the same as slope. So 300 divided by 4 is 75. What I just want you to think about is our labels. And what you can do is label, this was in hours, and the 400 was feet. Therefore, we're talking 75 feet per hour. Number 2, a scuba diver is 30 feet below the surface of the water 10 seconds after he entered. So remember, time is always on the x. 10 seconds. 30 feet below the surface would be -30. Be careful with your signs. And then at 40 seconds, he is 100 feet below. Let's see if we can do this one. We're falling. It should be negative rate of change because we're getting deeper. -100 minus -30 over 40 minus 10. All right, -100 plus 30 is -70 feet in 30 seconds. You can leave it like this, or you can convert to a unit rate. So -7/3 feet per second. Let's look at the last 2. Kevin's savings account balance changed from $11.40 in January to $14.50 in April. Find the average rate of change per month. So I'm going to say that January is month 1, and we had $11.40. So if January is month 1, April would be month 4. All right, rate of change, $14.50 minus $11.40 over 4 minus 1. And this one we definitely have to use a calculator for. Looks like we're saving $133.33 per month. And last problem, and I just need to record before I hit the end here. In 1990, there were 945 students. In 2015, there were 1,356. I'm going to call 1990 year 0. So if 1990 is year 0, 2015 would be 25 years later. Okay, I'm going to pause it here and finish up the work. So here's my work for this problem. East High is growing, and I don't know if these are the real numbers or not, but it's growing on average 16.44 students per year. Obviously, you can't have 0.44 of a student, but it just is an average rate of change. All right, see your teacher with any more needs that you have.